Today, we're talking about the 5 ways to make 100K during a real estate crash, mostly for beginner wholesalers. And not only am I going to walk you through what I'm doing today, I'm going to show you what I did way back in the day from basically 2008 through 2012 that made a tremendous difference and allowed me to make a ton of money while I was wholesaling. So I've got some experience in this and I want to share it with you. And I'm also going to share some new techniques I've learned through recent times and what you can do. But it always comes down to you taking a massive amount of action. You guys just can't hire gurus and expect to do deals. The truth of the matter is most of the problems we have in wholesaling are because people just study, and they don't actually take any physical action, and then they complain about it. If you want to overcome that and you are looking to actually take actionable steps, you're in the right place. My name is Rick, and I've been wholesaling for 21 years. That's right, 21 years of wholesaling. I know a thing or two. Honestly, there is nothing that you haven't thought of, done, or even going to ask that hasn't happened to me. And the beauty with my experience is I can share a lot of wisdom, a lot of things that will help you just when you're getting started out in wholesaling. With that being said, if you guys are brand new to wholesaling, I want you to do me a favor. Go over to freewholesaling.com. Me and my son have created a 100% free course. And guys, not just 500 people, not 800 people, not 1,000, not 10,000. Over 50,000 people have gone out and used freewholesaling.com and gone out and picked up not only their first check, but people well on the way to making $100,000 a month. And how they do it? Number one, they took the information and they took it for free because we want to teach you guys and get you out doing deals. Why? Because I want everybody on this channel to be successful. And number two, I want to eventually do a deal with everybody on this channel. How do I do it? I give you the real tools to go out and find real wholesaling deals instead of a lot of this junk that's peddled to you guys, flipping houses on the beaches, doing nothing, drinking margaritas. Sounds great in theory, but that's not how wholesaling works at all. So if that sounds exciting to you, then go over to freewholesaling.com. And if you want to get your first deal, that's the best place to start. If you're working to get another 2 to 3 deals a month, go there because I guarantee you I'll show you marketing techniques that will be of huge value to you, even though it's free. And so many people are like, well, it's free. What can I get for free? Well, the problem is everyone's misabused free so bad. You don't even understand the value when you get a good quality product for free. Guys, I've been delivering this product over 3 years, 100% for free. Why? Because I make plenty of money in wholesaling. I don't need your coaching fees. And quite honestly, I don't want to be a slave and do 50 hours of live Zooms for people that are going to fail 95% of the time, which is the failure rate in wholesaling. So that being said, let's jump into it. I said, if you got a question, put it on there and you can hop on the lives on one-on-ones. It's been raining like crazy in Florida here. Nuts. It's nuts. So how do you make 100K during a real estate market crash? Well, keep in mind that when markets are going backwards, the biggest driving rate on the real estate market right now is the interest rates. And it's really going to affect people in the higher price point homes. Either they're going to have cash to pay for them, or they're going to take out a huge mortgage with an interest rate of like 6.5%, maybe approach 7%, maybe, but I don't think it's going to do it. And the Fed just keeps upping the interest rate to try to get a grip on inflation in our economy. And right now we're at the kind of wait and see mark. It looks like they're probably going to do another increase. And remember, every time they put pressure on that interest rate, the reality of what they're trying to do 2 things. Their main goal is to bust inflation, but there's 2 factors that are most important in busting inflation in the Fed's eyes. And if you don't believe me, read their notes. And they make them available online, FOMC notes, and they do them, I believe, quarterly, if not monthly. It basically says on there, they're looking to bust the labor market, which means they want unemployment to go up so businesses can get more competitive in salaries. And until they do that, inflation's probably not getting under control. And then number 2, they're looking to bust real estate prices because real estate prices can't continue going up on an unsustainable level. So you guys know they've been going up ever since 2011, 12. So we're now approaching 11 years plus. That's kind of unheard of. And so getting those 2 things under grasp should take care of inflation. But the problem is nobody wants anyone to lose their job. And number 2, nobody wants the value of their real estate to go down. And because inventories were so low early when we started in this, that it's just kind of weird in real estate. Now, there's definitely soft spots. So like in Florida, the high-end market is really, they're having tough time moving the product. The low-end stuff moves very fast. And then in other parts in California and New York, they're really having sticky price points. So, and it's sporadic throughout the United States. Sometimes like you don't understand why this one's not moving and this one is. As those inventory levels go up in real estate, you're going to see more of a stagnant market. And the first indication is you have to have inventory, because if there's inventory, if there's a lot of inventory, people have choices. And when people have choices, price wars start. And that's what you have to most understand when you're doing real estate is if inventory is low, there's not a lot you can do. If there's a ton of inventory, there's a ton of choices. So if you're looking at maybe, am I in one of these types of markets? The first thing you want to do is look at your inventory. So the first thing I did when, especially when this market hit, remember, I was doing very, very well. So for 2003, 4, 5, 6, I mean, I was just coming into my own. I was really cracking, 50, 70 grand a month. And then I got to tell you, things changed quickly. Now, the one thing that really saved me when I had a massive market shift, and keep in mind, guys, I'm making a comparison to a market that really is a once in a lifetime event. I don't think you're ever going to see what happened in 2007 to 2009, 10. You're never going to see it because it was all predicated on a mortgage bubble. The problem is the lending was so easy. They gave it to everybody, and the government backed all the mortgages through Freddie and Fannie, that it was really unsustainable, and they were writing bad mortgage out for bad mortgage. And eventually the government got caught in it, and that's why all the lending requirements tightened up, and that caused a big time recession, especially in the real estate market. And so here's what we did. So the first thing I'm telling you right now, let me take that off there, JV deals. And JV is just a fancy little acronym for joint venture. Now, you can do a joint venture with me and Zach, and I'll show you later in the live stream on how to do that. And we do a 50-50 deal, but I'm here to tell you, if you're just getting started and you found a motivated seller and you got a great price on it, sometimes it behooves you to work with a local wholesaler that's very knowledgeable in your market and will work you through the deal with you and show you how to finish the paperwork, show you how to do it, and they split it with you. If you got a great deal, don't give that other JV partner 80% of the deal. That's just a greedy person, and you probably don't want to do much business with them. The most I would do is 60-40. That's if they had to fund it, put money into the deal, and they took you under your wings and they helped you out with wholesaling. I'm all about that. But I like 50-50 because it takes both partners' energy to go in and get the deal done. And a 50-50 deal is how, to me, is the fairest way to do a JV deal. Now, if someone's putting up money or other stuff like that, then you got to adjust the numbers accordingly. But here's what I did. I was really good at finding motivated sellers. Guys, I just went after and chased the government list, like I'm going to teach you right now how to do. But I never spent any time cultivating my cash buyers. My focus was to do as many deals as I humanly possibly can, and I'll get better with dispositions. I waited too long to do that. And so what I would do is go out and find other wholesalers that had a robust cash buyers list. I would have my deal. I would tell them what I want. I always try to charge them a little bit more to compensate for the negotiations. And it worked out really, really well. In fact, I JV'd over half my deals in the first year and a half of doing this business. Why? Because I was struggling getting cash buyers. I wasn't that great at it. And honestly, I felt if I got really good at finding motivated sellers, I could eventually master dispositions. My suggestion is don't wait a year and a half like I did. But guys, if you're really good at cultivating cash buyers and you're not that great at getting deals, start working with someone that can help you out with that. But you want a synergy relationship where you're benefiting and the other partner is benefiting. So if you're both really good at cash buyers list, don't partner up together because it's not going to help you out. Go out and find someone that's really good at finding motivated sellers. And the idea is you take your weakness and you outsource it so you can get better at it. And ideally, I want to bring people in that are transparent that will help me learn it. That's how I really learned to get a great cash buyers list, and it helped my confidence in selling any of my deals. Did I give up some money? Yeah, in the beginning, but I got to be honest with you. It was really hard to move product from basically late 2008 to 2011. And so for 3 years, I was really good at JVing. In fact, all wholesalers were working together because here's the secret. There was more inventory than there was cash buyers. So we had to go out and get the absolute best deals possible. This wasn't possible without doing JV deals. Now, I don't think we're going to quite get to that point here, But I'm here to tell you, if you're in a market that's really softening up, start going out and working with these people. Now, I'm going to forewarn you, you tend to have to go through a lot of potential partners when you do this, meaning not every wholesaler is going to have good intentions like you do, and it drives me nuts. And you've got to understand that going into these deals. So go out, find a good JV deal partner, someone you can work with. And remember, that JV partnership is only good per deal. So if you work with someone you didn't like how they worked, or they were very manipulative and they lying and they didn't help you out, then move on past that deal, take your pain and move on, because it never gets better after that deal. So many partners would tell me, make so many promises to me and stuff like that, and they never did it. And I kept giving the benefit of the doubt. I'm here to tell you, do not fall for that trap. They're already put their best foot forward. If their best foot forward stinks and it doesn't get any better, don't ever do business with them again. You will regret it massively. And I'm telling you, you do not want to deal with those types of deals. Now, JV deals, just make sure you get something that's very complementary to what you do. The next thing that probably saved my butt all during a down market are just creative finance deals. And I know what you're saying, go, hey, Rick, wait a minute. I'm a new wholesaler. I didn't come to this for creative financing. I get it. But I want you to open up to the concept now and understand it. Every now and then there are deals out there that us wholesalers cannot cure, meaning they either owe too much money or they have some sort of problem why the deal can't close. And I always approach every deal as a wholesaler first. But you've got to be realistic. If somebody desperately needs to sell their home, they can't afford it anymore, or they're downgrading, or they had a family move or a job move, and it doesn't qualify for a cash deal like wholesaling, look at what's restricting it. And if it's the debt, look at what the cost of the debt is per month, the total mortgage payment with tax insurance and everything. And then look at what the rental rate is in the area and see if there's an opportunity. If there's an opportunity, then there's a way to take the deal down. Remember, not every deal has to be taken down traditionally. Now, I stayed away from these in my first 3 years because honestly, I didn't know how to do them. And after I've looked at creative financing deals, as long as you're transparent, honest, and open, and everybody 100% commits to it, they work out really well. Here's where creative financing doesn't work. You cannot make somebody do a creative financing deal. In fact, here's the secret to creative financing. Often, creative financing is the only solution to a seller's problem because the only way they can sell it is bring money to the table or lose the house to foreclosure or like a bankruptcy type of deal. And nobody wants that. So if there is opportunity to make it work, then pursue them. Honestly, most creative financing just has to pass the basic snuff test of common sense. So if the payments are $1,400 a month and the thing rents for $2,500 a month and the house is in good shape and they're only behind on one payment, there's a path to make that profitable. Here's my secret with creative financing, and here's how you stay out of trouble. Because by the way, anybody can do a creative financing deal. And a lot of people do creative financing with the hope of making money on the very back end. And I only do a creative financing when I can make money up front, or I'm prepared to take the risk of whatever types of monies I have to put up front. So if you're new to wholesaling, you're going to do creative financing. I'm going to walk you through the basic strategies, but make sure you're making money up front, and that way you never get in trouble. So many people are out there, they're so desperate to do creative financing because they don't think wholesaling works. And what they'll do is they'll buy a property and they'll put 15 or 20 grand down, and then they borrow the money from somebody else's or someone's 401k, and they have no idea how the deal's going to work, and they have no idea how they're ever going to get repaid back, maybe in 10 years down the road. Please don't do creative financing deals like that. So my simple creative financing deal is positive cash flow up front, positive cash flow every month, and positive cash flow when they cash me out. If you can't hit in all three areas, don't do it because you're at financial risk. And full disclosure, some of my first 3 creative financing deals I did, they all fell apart on me because the rental rates went so far backwards in Port St. Lucie that the rental rates were far below what the debt. And I actually had to give the houses back, and I actually paid people to take the houses back because I didn't have the foresight and I didn't understand it because somebody just told me to go out and do creative financing. And I even made positive upfront cash flow and I still lost on the deal. Now, I learned a lesson is it has to work in all 3 areas: upfront, monthly cash flow, and at the very end. And if there's any type of risk, don't do it. So I'm going to walk through some of the basics on it right now so you understand. And I'm going to keep this very, very, very simple. Number 1, a subject to deal. It means you take the deal subject to the existing debt on the property. Very simple, very straightforward. And honestly, these are the most common types of creative financing deals you're going to do. What you're looking for is stuff that's got low interest rates, I love properties that have been paid down. And my favorite one is someone that has a 15-year mortgage on it. Why? Because it's paid down very fast and a significant amount of money goes to the principal. Now, what I want to do is I want to see a differential of at least $250 a month, if not $300 in cash flow. Why? Because rents can change, market conditions can change, prices can go backwards. Nobody ever tells you this about creative financing, but it's true. Prices can go backwards. We've gone up for a straight 11 years. We could be going in a period, depending on what market you're in, we could be going sideways, meaning there's no appreciation or little to appreciation, or you could be going to a market where it's going backwards. Now, I went to a market where the appreciation went back almost 50%. Unheard of. Look it up in Port St. Lucie. It was out of control. And so I did creative financing deals and I got in trouble because I had very small margins in them and I learned the hard way. Now, subject to is basically means if someone has a $200,000 mortgage on a house and the house is worth $200,000, you just take over the mortgage and the payments. Now, what can you do with it? You can do whatever you want. You can rent the house out. You can basically do like a rent to own. There's a million different strategies on it. But what you're looking for is the opportunity in the cash flow. And by taking over the property and letting somebody else take over position, that they don't have to do traditional bank qualifying. And if you guys don't know what traditional bank qualifying is, it's brutal these days. Lending requirements are tighter now than I've seen them in a long time. And a loan application is extremely exhaustive. They will underwrite you personally, then they'll underwrite the property, and then they'll probably underwrite your babies, your sisters, and everybody else involved. But subject to is probably the most common one. And honestly, these are the people that really, I only take subject twos over when they have no other choice. Now, here's the golden part of subject twos, which I'm going to go over a little bit later. You can do a subject two and a probate deal. They're the absolute best ones you can take over. Why? There's no resistance, nobody cares, and the deceased person is gone, and there is no real repercussions. So no one's credit's going to get killed, and honestly, you're going to make the payments anyways. I love to do probates because a subject two for a deceased person is an easy sell to the family. The problem with subject two is a lot of people want to go and buy another house and they want to fix their credit and do some other things, which you can help them with that. But eventually you have to cash out that subject to free them from it. And those are some of the problems with the subject to. But if the cash flow is there and they have no other option, they'll basically beg you to move forward with it. You just got to make sure they are 100% cooperative in all phases. If they give you any resistance, please don't do a subject to, because it means they're not ready for them. The next one I did a lot of lease options, and lease options are very simple. It's just two contracts. Now, in the old days, we used to put them together, but I'm here to tell you, lease options is basically you option the property for X amount of time. Some people do it 3 years, 5 years, whatever it is. And it says, I give you $1,000 and I'm able to buy this property for this set price within 3 or 5 years, whatever time you frame your set. And then the lease part of it is basically a rental agreement. And every month you rent it, you get a little bit of money put towards the down payment of the property. And basically after that 3 or 5 years period, you can either cash it out. What most people do is they find another end buyer to take over their position. They charge a premium on that. You make money up front. So if you collected $20,000 up front and you gave your seller $5,000, you made $15,000. Maybe there's some repairs in there. Then maybe you're making $300 a month on the mortgage payments over what they're paying you and what you leased it out for. And then when you sell it, if you're selling it for $225 and your agreement with them was $180, then you would make that $45,000 difference. And why I like these is they go super quick. They're easy. It doesn't matter if it has a mortgage or not. And a lot of times when people were renting their houses out, they would love to do this because they like the monthly cash flow. And a lot of them are trying to avoid tax implications, especially this time of year. You guys know what today is. Today is a day to get your taxes done, so to speak. So I love lease options. My favorite lease options are on nice, pretty big houses that don't need a lot of repairs. If they need a lot of repairs, this is a pain in the butt. But why? Because I can get somebody in there right away with no bank qualifying, and I know I can make 10 to 15 grand right off the bat. I will tell you, from 2008 to 10, I did a lot of these, and they worked out really, really well. And for the most part, most people wind up buying them. Now, please don't be one of those person that tricks people into lease options, meaning when you go to sell it, you know they never have the ability to be able to buy it. They have terrible credit, and you're just going to take it away from them to keep their option payment. I don't like investors like that because I want to help anybody out. I have never, ever not had anyone fulfill a subject to or a lease option for me. And if they did, we either extended it or we renegotiated, or we found a pleasant way for them to get out to make it a win-win for everyone. So, and then the other one is owner financing. If people have really, what I take, premium properties and the market's not giving them what they want and they're set at a number, they're always set at a certain number. So the beauty is, since they have no mortgage and no debt on the property, you can set whatever terms you guys negotiate to. So say they want $300,000 for a property and, maybe it's only worth like 270, 275. You can give them 300, you can give them a down payment, but you can stretch the payments out over 30 years, 40 years. You can do anything you want. You can have it balloon in 5 years. What I love about this is this deals with the sophisticated sellers that's completely set on a price. Now, the problem with owner finance typically is they all want a big, large down payment. But if we're in a soft market, guys, and there's no activity on the market, these types of properties, they get primed for anyone that will help them out. So you got to find a property that's sitting on the market for a while. Sometimes they're FSBOs and they do work out really, really well. The next one, which I brought up early, is become a probate specialist. Guys, I got to tell you, if you only did probates, you wouldn't have to do much. You can actually work 2 full-time jobs and do probates. Ask me how I know this, because probates by far are the most profitable, the easiest, in my opinion, in the wholesale, because they're typically vacant and they're just easy to sell. Why? Because they have deferred maintenance, they're vacant, and you can decide when you actually fund and close the deal. Because I teach you how to be a probate specialist by understanding you don't have to wait till the probate is completed at all. In fact, I teach you the opposite. The sooner you can get it under contract, the better off you're going to do on the probates. And guys, just by learning this little known fact, being a probate expert, you can dominate your market. And what I like about probates is they have 3 times higher profit level than your regular wholesaling deals. So even if you only did this strategy during a down market like we're in now, you're going to make 3 times the amount on your normal wholesaling deal. It doesn't mean you stop doing your normal wholesaling deals. It just means you have more opportunities to make more money with probates. The secret, I just wasn't a regular probate guy. What I did is I took that extra time and I found the biggest problem with probates. And here's what it was. Lawyers told every seller, and I heard it thousands of times, you cannot sell the property until the probate is completed. It is a 100% factual lie that lawyers tell their clients so they can control their clients. And the fact of the matter is their clients have the ability at any time before, during, or after the probate to sell their property. Why would a probate lawyer lie to a seller? Oh, that's right. It's money. So the best thing you can do is I teach you on how to educate your sellers that you can actually sell the property before the probate's complete, and let's have a conversation. I'll show you how to do it. Now, I use that as bait so people will meet with me or have a virtual phone appointment, and I explain it to them. And then once I have a contract with that seller, I no longer have to navigate around the lawyer. If you have to ask for a probate lawyer's permission to enter into a contract, you're going to have problems because they're going to try everything they can to stop you from doing it. That's just what lawyers, I don't even blame them, but that's what they do. And if you understand that in probates and you become masterfully skilled into it, go over to freewholesaling.com. I teach you how to do the whole thing. It's really, really easy. So now I'm going to bring up a little bit of controversial one. A lot of people don't even really think of this, is work with realtors. And yes, realtors are actually much more humble and much more willing to work with wholesalers, AKA cash buyers, during down markets. Why? Because they don't have a lot going on. So something's better than nothing. And when you have a listing that has become tired and stale, they have to find options for their sellers. And if they have no options and you give them an option, you suddenly become their best friend. So let's go over that. There's 2 ways to work with them. Number 1, on-market deals. Now, I'm here to tell you, everybody and their mother's selling a course on an on-market. Actually, today I got hit with 2 courses. I don't know, a couple $100, and they say deals are going to automatically load into your inbox. You don't have to do anything. You just fill out the contracts. Guys, that's not how it works. That fills someone's bank account and creates more problems for you. If you want to do on-market properties with realtors, number 1, you have to develop a relationship with them. Number 2, you have to find they're tired, they're weak, and they're soon, if not expired, listing. That's it. Why? If somebody has a 3 or a 6 month listing, and say it's a 6 month listing and they're in month 5.5 of it, and there's really no offers, the house has issues, and you come in with that offer, I will tell you, time and circumstance change a realtor's mind. And more importantly, the realtor will change the seller's mind. Why? Because they want to get paid their commission. They're saying, listen, I put this out on the market. The market has spoken loudly. This property needs love. We need a cash buyer to buy it. I strongly recommend you taking Mr. Ginn's offer. It's the only one we have, and I think it's the best one. If you don't take it, I'm not sure we're going to get another one. I have to get the realtors buying to do that. Why? Because they're going to get paid their commission, and it's a win-win. Now, it only works on tired, expired listings, soon to expire listings, and properties that have a lot of price adjustments. This crap does not work on properties just going on the market on a day or two. In fact, the people will teach this is unbelievable. You're going to have to write 5,000 contracts every day, 7 days a week to even have a shot to find one or two deals. I'm not telling you. Go find the tire of the week, the price reduction properties, because that is an indication there is an issue with the property. There might be an issue with the seller, and it's the market, the reality of the market, on market deals. The market's brutal. Between inspections, underwriting, mortgages, realtors, it's a lot of work. And if the property's not up to snuff and the price doesn't reflect it, it's going to sit on market. Why? Realtors don't want to show properties that are never going to close and their clients aren't going to be interested in. It just doesn't work that way. Now, that's on market deals. Let's talk about off-market deals. Yes, my favorite way to use a realtor are for off-market deals. Well, Rick, how do they get off-market deals? If 95% of all real estate goes through some sort of realtor, understanding it, they have a lot of conversation with sellers and they have a lot of appointments with sellers. And most realtors are trained to look at big, beautiful houses that are ready to sell. The reality is there's a large portion of houses that just aren't up to snuff, that people are comfortable working with a realtor. They don't know how to find a cash buyer, and they're going to introduce this property to their realtor friend, family member, whoever it is. And the realtor is going to go, I don't know what I can do with this because I'm going to probably need a cash buyer because it won't qualify. So here's where you train your realtors ahead of time. And this was one of my critical changes in 2008-9 I made. I went around and I met with, it was probably close to 1,000 realtors. It was bad. I got kicked out a lot of places. It was exhausting. Every day I go out and do sales calls with the realtors, and I physically did them. I didn't even do them by phone call. I set up the phone to do an appointment. I held like little seminars and stuff, and I bring in realtors. And all I said, listen, when you get a property that's not up to snuff, it's not going to pass inspection, or the buyers are going to beat it up, or your seller says, I just want to sell this quickly, call me. I will make you a fair offer. It will be all cash, and it's a simple yes or no. And if your client takes it, I will pay you on both sides of the transaction. And I'll even consider relisting with you if we decide to put it back on the market. That's it. And here's what I learned. I don't want that realtor calling me every day. Quite the contrary. Honestly, if they call me 2 or 3 times a year, I'm happy, because if they call you every other week, they're trying to sell you everything and you're only looking for like a needle in the haystack. You want them to do the looking, not you. So when they go, listen, I got this lady, I sold her house originally. She's got older. She's let it run down. She needs a cash offer. And then I'll ask her, what do you think in the as-is condition? And I work with the realtor to come up with a price, because the realtor knows exactly what the seller wants for it. By training your realtors to snuff out off-market deals before they actually put them online on MLS will make everybody happier. But here's the reality is, this is a conversation you have to have before they meet with these types of sellers. So I find realtors that are open to working with me. I don't really ever tell them I'm a wholesaler. I just tell them I'm a cash buyer. And here's how many properties I closed. I'm really easy to work with. I want to make a win-win situation. If it works, great. If not, I understand, and you can list the property. And that's how we do it, because realtors understand when the properties are rough, they're going to get beat up on the market and they don't want to deal with it. So why not just take the easy money, and besides, they get paid on both sides. If you do dual agency, that means they can represent the buyer and the seller. And that way they don't have to take the higher offer, because they actually make more money working with your deals. Now, I'm going to share my last one, which a lot of people overlook this one. And I'm telling you, man, it is golden in a down market. It's actually golden in a good market too. But it works. I've been doing them a long time. And here we go. Bandit signs. Oh, you're one of those bandit sign guys. There's a reason people put up bandit signs. It's because they work. Now, the cost of bandit signs has gotten outrageous in the last 5 years. From a guy who used to own a bandit sign company, because I made so many signs, here's how you do it. Go get the 18 by 24 white coroplastid signs, and you can buy them at Home Depot, a little expensive there, or you can find a sign place that'll ship them to you, or find a local sign store and pick up a blank. Just get 10, 20, at most 30 of them. If you want to know a rough cost, they wholesale for about $1 a piece. So if you get them for $1.25 or $1.50, you're doing good. The next thing you do is get those big black Sharpie markers at Home Depot or Lowe's. It's like $2, maybe $3. And then you're going to get the stakes. You can buy stakes at Home Depot, and they're the metal stakes, and they sell them over on the construction side, over where you find the CBS blocks and concrete. And they put these actually in mortar, but you can cut them. And what you need to do is just get a pair of bolt cutters, go over to Harbor Freight. It's like $9 for a pair of bolt cutters, and then you cut them. And your stakes only got to be about that high, about 12 to 16 inches. And it's very affordable to do it that way. Guys, I've done this. I've done hundreds of thousands of Bandit signs. They work. You only want to use 3 lines. Ready? Your top line is your eye catcher. Sell your house today. The next tagline is going to be something like, anywhere, any condition, any price. And then the bottom one is going to be your virtual phone number. That's it. It works really well. Don't go out and get these custom printed signs because, number one, they're very expensive to make, and they're even more expensive, and they're heavy. They come in big boxes. They cost a fortune to ship. The last thing I want you to do is spend $1,000 on signs to find out maybe they don't work in your community. Now, you want to put them in front of like Walmart's, Home Depots, Lowe's, anywhere where someone can slow down at a red light. And most people pick up their phone and they take a picture of it. Now, I come from the day where we used to write it all down, but they take a picture of it. So if you can't slow down fast and quick enough to take a picture of it, don't put the sign up. Hint number 2, look for places where people are already having success. Outside of political signs, which depending on what time of year you're watching this video, is look for mattress companies, the ones that sell mattresses in bulk, and also look for dating sites, single sites, stuff like that. They put out the most signs of anyone's, and if they're putting out signs in an area, respect where they're putting them out and give them a little space and put it next to them. And if you're really creative, you can reach out to that person, see if you can do a joint venture on putting out signs. Maybe you put them out one week and then they put them out the next week. It's a huge trust issue. You got to get to know people to do that. But I'm telling you guys, Bandit signs work. They work extremely effective. Here's where people make mistakes on. Don't write on both sides because they're very translucent these days, and it will bleed through when the sun's out and nobody can tell. The old days, they were thick where you could write on both sides. Don't do that anymore. It doesn't work. And don't go out and put out 100 signs. Just put out 10, 15 signs and see if you get traction on it. And that is a great way to go out and market and see if it actually works before you invest like $1,000 into it. So I love Bandit signs. And guys, I'm telling you, I still do Bandit signs to this day. It works. You just got to make sure it's legal in your city and understand that a lot of cities and counties frown against it. I get it. So I have a lot of areas I can't put them up anymore. But I will tell you, I started out doing them. I had Zach do them when he was in high school with me, and he had phenomenal success doing it. And a lot of times, some of the easiest methods we have to get deals, we often overlook because they just seem too rudimentary. And I'm here to tell you, when times get hard, when real estate markets start to go sideways, like it is a little bit now, and guys, I don't know where this is going to wind up being. And if I did, I would be a gazillionaire. But here's what happens when real estate markets start slipping backwards. They don't fall off the cliff overnight. It's a long, slow death. So we're just now seeing some of the effects of the interest rates being raised. Remember, we had very low inventory levels. That's why you're not seeing a massive slide off. But we're definitely seeing inventory levels come up. Mortgages are being harder to get, and buyers are far and few between where they used to be. Now, I'm in Florida. We're still in a relatively hot market. So it just depends on where you are in the country. And I want you to take this training video and understand sometimes the more basic of the marketing method you do, it actually works well. Why? Because you just cut through the crap and the clarity. And I want you to understand that you've got to go out and take the action to it. Like, you're not going to make the 100 grand if you don't go out and do stuff. And so if you're lost, you want to do it, go out and do the Bandit signs and do exactly what I told you in this video. And you're going to shock yourself on how many leads you can actually get. But I can guarantee you this, if you take no action, you'll get 0 leads and you'll be in the exact same place, if not worse than when you started out watching this video. So don't be that person.